employing well over 30,000 personnel. $3.5 billion a year industry for the city's copper. And the reason why high tech has come here, and folks, they have in droves, no question about it. It is, as you can see, a very clean city, but it is also a very, very safe city to live in. Now, folks, I'm a retired firefighter, as I said earlier. One of the jobs I used to do as a firefighter, I was a paramedic. So any of the scourges that North American cities have, unfortunately, we do have them here, no question about it. But our murder rate this year is 1.
No
That's
way.
it. That's it for the entire year.
Wow.
On average, the last 10 years, it's 2
Wow.
for every year. So very, very safe city to live in that respect. No question about it. Now, I'll interrupt myself is because when we get going through here, the red brick building that's coming up on our right-hand side in the next block is one of the oldest Jewish synagogues in Canada. It's the oldest in Western Canada. Not so much the new brick. There's a set of old brick there right beside it. That synagogue was founded way back in 1862.
Wow, this one here.
It is the old brick there. It is a heritage building in our city, and what that heritage status means is the outside facade, the way you see it right now, always must remain that way. It can never ever change. We'll talk a little bit more about the heritage buildings in Victoria on the way back in, folks.
Have you had any mass shooting here?
Have we? No. Thank God. Well, I don't even want to fathom that day. Well, the number 2 industry in Greater Victoria is one of the slowest moving industries in the entire world. We already saw part of it. It's government. We are, as I said earlier, the capital city of British Columbia. And we're also the home port for the Canadian Navy Pacific Fleet. And the Navy is the single largest employer in our town by a long shot.
Oh.
I'll stop and interrupt myself again. This gorgeous building on the right-hand side, that's a Canadian cathedral of sorts. It's not really a cathedral, folks. It's a nice arena. Everybody knows that Canada is a hockey-crazed country, correct? Yeah. It's going to surprise you to find out that Canada's national sport is not hockey. Our national sport is lacrosse.
Oh.
There's another foot, and we're going to have 2, one for the winter and one for the summer, and hockey will become the winter national sport, and lacrosse will remain a national sport of the summer. Not yet. Now, getting back to the industries that fire the economic engine of our city, the number 3 industry is another exceptionally slow-moving industry. But you guys, tourism is absolutely enormous in our city.
Nice.
At this time of the year, 7 out of 10 people are either directly or indirectly employed within the tourist business. $1.5 billion a year industry to Greater Victoria's coffers. So you guys are vitally important to us, and part of my job is to show you Victoria in a good light, and hopefully entice you to come back and spend a lot more money in our city. I'm honest about that one. And then the number 4 industry, and I told you how I normally lead this off, is the city of Victoria is, as I said earlier, is known as the city of flower beds, newlyweds, and nearly deads. The average age of Victorians is 79 years old. So we have a huge infrastructure supporting the elderly in our city.
It's nice.
Go ahead.
It's nice to retire here then.
It is. It's gorgeous. It's one of Canada's national retirement spots. It's not the only one, but it's primarily. An interesting article that was written about Victoria a number of years ago. It was in a Dallas newspaper. They described Victoria as a quaint little city by the sea where grandparents live with their parents. Anybody know that one?
That's nice.
Yeah. It is actually.
I like the utility box. They painted really nice on the street.
It is. Now, with all that stable income in our city, guess what it does to the cost of housing? Now, the house I'm going to talk about is a typical city house on a typical city lot. It's going to be about 1,500 and 1,600 square foot. Basement, garage door, carport. $855,000. That's the average cost.
Wow. Like
Now, say if
California.
you wanted to go down into a townhouse, the average cost of a townhouse in our city is about the $500,000 mark. And if you wanted to take one step further down and go into the condominium market, 1,000 square foot thereabouts condo is going to cost you about $375,000. Welcome to Victoria.
Nice.
It is the third most expensive city in Canada to live in. Housing wise, that is.
What's the minimum income here? Minimum hourly
Minimum
wage.
income is $13.57 an hour.
Okay, it's not bad. That's good.
The most expensive city in Canada to live in is Vancouver, and that's Victoria's neighbor. The second most expensive city is Toronto. And Toronto, believe it or not, is Canada's largest city, and it is as well the fifth largest city in North America. The average income in our city, dual family income, is about the $110,000, $112,000 mark. Single family, around the $62,000 to $63,000 mark. And trust me, folks, it takes every last penny to support yourself in this. And how the young kids get into the market, and I'll use my youngest daughter as an example. Anybody heard the Bank of Mom and Dad?
No.
No. She came, rang the doorbell of the Bank of Mom and Dad. That's my wife and I. Can they borrow some money? Oh, now you guys are figuring. They rang the doorbell, Mom and Dad, can you help us out? Well, okay. We helped them out. But they were smart. They bought a house that has a basement suite in it. So they rent that out as well. So that goes a long ways to support their mortgage payment. But folks, just as a sidebar, they didn't realize tenants move out. Know where I'm going? They rang the doorbell to Bank of Mom and Dad once again. We helped them out, of course we did, but we told them the bank is officially closed.
No lifeline.
Sometimes you have to learn